This is an audiovisual study guide for Chapter 23 of Dana Harris's Introduction to Biblical Greek Grammar, covering infinitives. So infinitive forms, we're going to drop a lot of information about infinitive forms, then we're going to actually show them on the next slide. You can toggle between the slides in the video, scroll through in order to make sense of the information and pause and match the information that we're giving with the actual forms. So the forms are relatively easy to memorize because they don't decline. Connecting vowel epsilon is used in the present middle and passive forms, the second aorist middle form, and the future middle and passive forms because the infinitive ending for these do not end in mu or nu. Second aorist forms are built on unaugmented aorist tense stems. The use of tense formatives follows the patterns we've seen so far. All infinitive morphemes except the present active and second aorist active end in I. There is no augment with the aorist infinitive. Reduplication occurs with perfect infinitives. Infinitive forms for contract verbs follow regular vowel contraction rules in the present infinitive forms, except the ending for the present active indicative is N, not ein. So let's take a look at what we're talking about here. Present active, luein. First aorist active, lusai. Second aorist active, labain. Future active, lusain. Perfect active, leleukenai. Present middle, luestai. First aorist middle, lusastai. Second aorist middle, labestai. Future middle, lusestai. Perfect middle, lelustai. Present passive, luestai. First aorist passive, luthenai. Second aorist, graphenai. Future passive, luthesestai. Perfect passive, lelustai. And then we've got the contract verbs, present active, taman. First aorist active, temesai. Present middle, temastai. And you can see the rest there. You can, again, scroll back and check the information we gave, match it up to what you see here. Infinitive functions, articular infinitives as the object of a preposition. Infinitives can function adverbially or substantively. Adverbial is more common. Several adverbial constructions involving an articular Greek infinitive as the object of a preposition have no direct parallel to English. And so because of that, these idiomatic constructions must be learned as they cannot be translated word for word. Note in the examples that although the case of the article changes as required by the preposition, the form of the infinitive does not change because it is indeclinable. The prepositional phrase is best rendered in English as a subordinate clause. So first function is purpose. This is the most common. An anarthrous Greek infinitive that occurs by itself to modify a main verb nearly always indicates purpose. Elthomen proskunesai auto, we came to worship him. Infinitive functions. An articular infinitive that modifies a main verb also indicates purpose, specifically the genitive singular neuter to. So, exelthen ha speron to sperai. The sower went out to sow. That was the purpose, and we see the genitive singular neuter to there. There are two articular infinitive constructions that also indicate purpose, eis or pros, followed by to plus an infinitive indicate purpose or less commonly result. The accusative article is required by both eis and pros. Both constructions are often translated in order that oide archieres kai holon tu sunedrion ezetun kata tu Jesu marturion eis to thanatosai auton. But the chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were seeking testimony against Jesus in order to kill him. Eis to, in order to. Prosekete de tein dikaiusunen humon me poen emprosthen ton anthropon prosto thenai autois. Be careful not to do your works of righteousness before people in order to be seen by them. Prosto, in order to, theathenai autois, to be seen by them. Adverbial infinitives result. This is most commonly indicated by a dependent hosta clause with an infinitive. If this infinitive is articular, the accusative singular neuter ta is used. Often this is rendered in English as a dependent clause beginning with so that or with the result that and an English finite verb. Epleison amphotera ta ploia hoste buthizesthai auto. Let's try that again. Epleison amphotera ta ploia hoste buthizesthai auto. The waves filled both boats with the result that they began to sink. Hosta. They began to sink. Adverbial infinitives temporal. So antecedent time relative to the main verb is indicated by pro tu plus an infinitive, or less commonly printo plus an infinitive. These constructions are usually translated before. Oidengar hopoter humon hon crean ekete pro tu humas aitesai auton, for your father knows what you have need of before you ask him. Pro tu. Contemporaneous time relative to the main verb is indicated by ento plus an infinitive. This construction can be translated as while, as, or when. For example, kai entosperen auton ha men empesen para ten hodon. And as he sowed, some seeds fell by the road. So you've got entosperen, as he sowed. Subsequent time relative to the main verb may be indicated by meta to plus an infinitive. Recall that meta in the accusative case can be translated as after or behind. So this construction follows logically from this use of meta. Not surprisingly, this construction is often translated after. Meta de to egerethenai me proaxo humas esten Galilean. But after I have been raised, I will go ahead of you to Galilee. So meta de, after I have been raised. Meta de to egerthenai. Complementary infinitives. An infinitive can function to complete the meaning of a finite verb, such as de or exesten. Each is incomplete by itself. Complementary infinitives are always anarthrous. Arkomai, bulomai, doke, dunamai, epitrepo, zeteo, thelo, melo, and ophelo are commonly completed with complementary infinitives. The use of arkomai and dunamai with complementary infinitives is very common. Udunaste theo duluein kai mamona. You are not able to serve God and money. The subject of an infinitive. Infinitives cannot have a grammatical subject, but often there is an implied subject of the infinitive, which is frequently the same as the subject of the main verb. Elthomen proskunesai auto, we came to worship him. So the subject we came would be the magi, and proskunesai, to worship. Who's going to be doing the worshiping? Also the magi, it's the same. Sometimes the subject of the infinitive is different from the main verb, which is indicated by an accusative case noun or pronoun. Uthelo de humas agnoin, I do not want you to be ignorant. Humas, accusative. The subject is who Paul is writing to, humas. Substantival infinitives. An infinitive may function as a substantive as the subject or the direct object of a finite verb. Emoigar to zein Christos kai tu apothanein kerdos. Apothanein. For me, to live is Christ and to die is gain. So in these cases, to live and to die are functioning as subjects, substantives. Zelute to prophetuein. Desire to prophesy. To prophetuein. So the direct object, what are they supposed to desire? To prophesy. So the direct object is a participle, an infinitive. That's it for chapter 23. You need to be able to parse and understand these functions. And of course, you will be memorizing some paradigms for infinitives.